In this video, I'm going to be discussing 6 simple ways to check in on yourself. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health. It is important for us to take the time to check in with ourselves, and especially during stressful times or whenever we start to feel burnout. We need to do so in order to really slow down and take an assessment over what we really need right now or what is going on with us, because with all the busyness of life, it seems impossible to be able to stop and process things. So here's a few ways that you can carve that time aside to be able to check in on yourself. The first way to check in with yourself is to be able to recognize how you're feeling physically. So the physical body and the mental body both do work together. So when you recognize how you're feeling physically, it can be an indicator of, all right, maybe something in my mind or something in my emotions is causing this physical reaction to happen. So ways you can do that is asking yourself, is your heart rate slow? Is it fast? Are you clenching your jaw? Are you having tightness in your chest? Are you straining your muscles right now? Are you holding tension anywhere? Are your shoulders relaxed or are they up? Kind of like all the way up to your ears. When we're stressed out, it can present itself physically, even if we're not aware of the stress mentally. So sometimes it'll happen where you're feeling stressed out and you'll know that that's why your body's doing that. But then there are times where you need to take an assessment and be like, wait a minute, why is my body doing this? And maybe your body is reacting faster than you have the chance to process what you're going through and process the stress that you're going through at that moment. Check in with your physical needs also. It's really important. You can do that by asking yourself how, what, do. Like those questions usually help a lot to give yourself a sort of dialogue. So some examples could be asking yourself, how am I feeling today? How do I feel about myself right now? How can I be more gentle with myself? Those are examples of the hows. The whats can be like, what do I need at the moment? What are my emotional needs right now? What's taking up the most of my headspace? A do question could be, do I feel safe emotionally? Do I know what my body needs right now? Do I feel safe physically right now? You know what I mean? So actually asking yourself those things as if you were to ask a little kid or somebody you care about, like if you were to ask them that, you need to ask yourself that too and see what it is that you're needing at that moment with how you're feeling. Another way is by identifying any problems that could be weighing you down, by asking yourself questions like this: what am I holding on to that's no longer serving me? Did something happen that made me feel a specific way? What can I do to change the way I feel? What am I tired of? And what can I do about that? Am I an active participant in any toxicity in my own life? Am I spending too much time on social media and not enough time checked into my real life? What can I let go of that's getting in the way of my health and well-being? Even like, would it help me if I contacted a professional who could help me feel better? Only you can know the true answers to all of these questions. So make sure that you are honest with yourself. Don't hold back because you're worried about how it may look, how it may seem, how it may be, whatever it is. Just like actually genuinely answer with what it is that you are needing at that moment, what it is that you are feeling at that moment without any restraint, because that's the only way you can truly help yourself is with honesty. Another way that you can simply check in on yourself is to lean into 5 different types of rest. So there's 5 that I've been able to narrow down. The 5 ways are physically, socially, mentally, creatively, and emotionally. So a physical way that you can do that is like physical rest is important in order to heal, recharge, and relieve any stress. That can be one of the easiest ways that you can rest. I know it may not be hard if you are hard on yourself or if you have a lot of productivity or you have a lot of deadlines, but physical rest can really reboot you. Mental rest, though, can be more important because physical rest is great, but sometimes the mind is still taking that driver's seat, you know what I mean? So our mental health is critical to our overall health, so try to take some sort of rest mentally that allows your thinking mind to like pump the brakes a little bit, or at least not be engaged and spiraled into. Socially, so sometimes overstimulation from being around a lot of people can be draining. So if you need to be a little bit more reclusive, you need to go into some solitude, that can help too. You can get creative rest too, because the more rested we are, the more creative our brains will be. So let's say if you're doing something and you're just feeling like really stressed out and really burnt out, and taking a little bit of a creative rest can really help you because it gets your mind really present and into something that sparks joy in you. So therefore, it allows your mind to focus on something else and flourish parts of your brain that make you feel good. Some way that you can also rest is emotional rest. So emotional rest is important so we don't experience emotional exhaustion. So that can be done with boundaries, that can be done with certain types of scenarios, that can be done with certain types of encounters. It can also go hand in hand with mental and social rest. It just depends on your situation. But resting is a very, very good way of checking in with yourself. Sixth and final simple way that you can check in on yourself is to just simply be kind to yourself. Being kind to yourself is one of the best things ever. So if you direct your kindness as an act of self-compassion, one of the best ways we can do that to ourselves is to give ourselves permission to be imperfect, be sad, be happy, be emotional, be whatever it is that you need to be, because you're not putting that added pressure onto yourself with the way you're feeling, the way you're thinking, the way you're acting, or anything like that. So if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling depleted, let yourself feel depleted. If you're feeling sad, let yourself be sad. If you're feeling happy, let yourself be happy. If you're a mixture of emotions, just let it all be. Let there be space for that, because if we are already hard on ourselves with the way we're feeling, if we're already having to shove ourselves to be a certain way around all of our demands and responsibilities, why are you going to also oppress yourself from being what you need to be, expressing what it is that you need to express? So just remember that it's a way of being kind to the point that that self-criticism will no longer be screaming out loud to you. So if you find yourself being really self-critical when you are feeling overwhelmed or stressed out, then, like, for example, like, you could be like, oh, I'm feeling so weak, I should be more productive, I should stop, blah 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 blah. You can find a way to ask yourself if you would talk this way to a friend or a loved one. Like, would you talk this way to somebody who was opening up about something they were going through mentally and emotionally? Would you be harsh on them? Would you be telling them that they should just snap out of it? Those are really key to them, because more than likely, if you're asking yourself in the perspective of somebody you really love and care about, the answer is going to be no. You're going to want to be gentle to them. So then you ask yourself, all right, then why don't I treat myself this way? Can I do that for myself right now? Now, if you're watching this video and wanting to find out a way to reach out to somebody to talk to, if you want to reach out to a neutral party, if you need to reach out to any sort of resource that may help you with whatever need that you have, here's a couple mental health resources that I gathered together that could be a little bit more helpful and kind of narrow it all down a little bit. So the crisis text line can be reached by texting home to 741-741. Mental Health America can also be reached by texting MHA to 741-741. You can also call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which isn't always necessarily needing to be a suicidal situation. It's with any crisis that you need. You can contact 800-273-8255. You can also contact the NAMI helpline at 800-950-NAMI. And Postpartum Support International can be reached at 800-944-4773. The Trevor Project can be reached by texting START to 678-678. The National Helpline Network can be reached at 800-442-4673. Veterans Crisis Line can be reached at 800-273-8255. Disaster Distress Helpline can be reached at 800-985-5990. And Trans Lifeline can be reached at translifeline.org. So I hope that this video has been helpful. It's meant to be a little bit more compact, just to give you a couple ideas and ways that you can be kinder to yourself and check in with yourself. Wherever this finds you, that you have a great mental health day. Thank you for watching.